According to a recent report, King Charles is indeed preparing to step down and pass the throne to William, with plans for the coronation already underway. This news raises questions about what changes will occur when William ascends to the throne. Now, hello friends, welcome to the King YouTube channel. Before we delve into the details, I must emphasize that I am not in a position to comment on the King's health personally. I can only relay information gathered from my sources. Some sources suggest that the King remains optimistic and is doing relatively well. However, there is uncertainty surrounding the type of cancer he has been diagnosed with, which is concerning. Other reports, including the one I'll share today, indicate that the King's cancer diagnosis is more severe than initially believed. And in fact, the situation may be so dire that the King is unable to continue as monarch, potentially paving the way for William to ascend the throne. The timing of this transition remains uncertain, but let's examine the details presented in the report. Over the weekend, the latest editions of American tabloids hit the stands, and a few caught my attention. One notable publication is In Touch Weekly, known for its varied track record in royal reporting. While sometimes accurate, they also publish sensationalized pieces, including flattering articles about Harry and Meghan. Now let's focus on their recent cover. It features a photo of William and Catherine. The cover features the headline Palace Bombshell. William and Kate King and Queen Charles to step down amid cancer battle. It suggests that the situation may be worse than previously known, with a secret $15 million coronation already in the works, and hints at Meghan's supposed ultimatum to Harry. To be fair, In Touch isn't the only publication discussing the seriousness of Charles's cancer diagnosis. However, the palace has neither confirmed nor denied these reports. Understandably, they may not rush to reveal such information if the diagnosis is indeed more severe than initially thought. It's natural for them to hope for the best and only make announcements if absolutely necessary. We can be sure that Prince Charles is receiving top-notch medical care, among the best available globally. If anyone can overcome it, it's certainly him. However, according to some reports, it could be pancreatic cancer, a particularly devastating illness. The 5-year survival rate for pancreatic cancer is only around 7.2, while there are many factors at play in someone's ability to beat this disease. For now, I choose to remain hopeful that the King has decent odds, even if it is pancreatic cancer. It's reassuring that they caught it early and there were no apparent signs beforehand. So hopefully he'll pull through and emerge stronger than ever, or at least as strong as he was before. Nonetheless, it's essential for everyone to be prepared for the possibility of William and Catherine assuming the throne. This is undoubtedly something that William and Catherine are actively preparing for at this very moment. As the heir, it's William's responsibility to be ready to step in if needed. He can't simply sit back and hope for the best. He must be prepared to take action. Now, turning to the article itself, we're greeted with a beautiful photo of William and Catherine. It's reassuring that they chose a flattering image, which suggests that the article may be authored by someone credible. We also see a photo of Charles and Camilla, accompanied by the caption, "Good Spirits." According to the palace statement about Charles, the King remains wholly positive about his treatment. It's true that they're telling us he's feeling positive and optimistic. However, if the opposite were true, it's unlikely that we'd be informed. The palace wouldn't disclose if the King were feeling depressed or unsure about his prognosis. That would be highly irresponsible. Looking on, the caption beneath the lovely photo of William and Catherine reads, "William and Kate, crowned king and queen." While we can forgive the use of Kate for now, given that it's an American publication, hopefully there was no disrespect intended. It was of a lifetime. Prince William has been training for this moment since he was a child, as so says of taking the throne, and Kate takes the job just as seriously. So far, the report seems accurate without any glaring errors. Indeed, William has been preparing for this role his entire life, and Catherine is a diligent worker and a loyal supporter of the monarchy. I have no doubt that when her time comes to become queen, she will accept the role with grace and dignity, as she does in everything. The piece shares a few quotes from William, and I can't imagine the stress he's been under in recent weeks. Bless his heart, it's not just his father dealing with a serious medical issue, but also his beloved wife. I can't fathom the toll that must have taken on him. The fact that he's still carrying out his duties shows his strength and capability as a future king. We are reminded that William attended a fundraiser for the London Air Ambulance charity, where he spent time with Tom Cruise and made a lighthearted joke. He said, "It's fair to say the past few weeks have had a rather medical focus, so I thought I'd come to an air ambulance function to get away from it all." Even in dark times like these, William can still crack a joke and connect with people, which is one of the reasons he will be an amazing king. Indeed, a source mentioned that the Queen would be incredibly proud of how well William has managed to compartmentalize everything and prioritize his duties to the crown. To say that William has been busy over the past few weeks is an understatement. He had to take on more responsibilities with the children, stepping in for Catherine, who needs to rest and recuperate. Additionally, he's been handling more royal duties since his father is unable to do so, with Queen Camilla also focusing on supporting King Charles. William has taken on the extra workload admirably. It seems like he's handling it all with grace and resilience, showing that he's not one to crack under pressure. I do believe that his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, was an excellent role model for him in this way. She always took her duties seriously and never allowed family drama or personal problems to interfere with serving her people. According to this report, although the king has expressed plans to return to public duties once his treatment is complete, he's also considering the possibility that it may not be possible. The source indicates that Charles is contemplating stepping down for the sake of the monarchy, which would mean William and Kate being crowned king and queen much sooner than anticipated. Honestly, I find this report believable, despite it being in the American tabloid In Touch. We should always take such reports with a grain of salt. But in my mind, it makes a lot of sense. The king has to be considering this right now. He has to think about what is best for the monarchy. I know this is a job he has waited for his entire life. It must have been incredibly difficult for him to be diagnosed with cancer so early in his reign. However, the king cares deeply about the survival of the monarchy. He has to acknowledge that if he is unable to carry out his duties for an extended period, he may have no choice but to hand things over to William. Depending on the type of cancer the king has and how the treatment progresses, it could be vital for him to keep his stress levels low. We need to be realistic about what this means for his role as monarch. If it's just too much for him, if he's going to sacrifice his health to continue, I think it's better that he abdicates. That's essentially what the source is saying. The source said he's got a serious battle ahead and he'll need to focus on beating this cancer. I think this source is absolutely right. Even though it may be difficult for him, he has to put himself first, he has to prioritize his health, and he has to realize that William is more than capable of taking on this position. William is an incredibly loyal and trustworthy heir. The king must be grateful for that. Currently, the king is still continuing with some of his duties, like reading the famous red box of government papers on a daily basis. And he's also been meeting with the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak by phone for now, according to this report. But later on, who knows, maybe he'll be feeling better and they'll be able to have some face-to-face meetings. But his doctors have told him that for now, public-facing duties are absolutely off limits. He has got to rest. He has got to take care of himself. And it sounds like he's doing that. I think King Charles is somebody who has been incredibly busy for years. He likes to keep himself busy. He likes to work. So for him right now, being able to attend to some of his duties is, I would guess, a big relief. I think it gives him something to focus on rather than his diagnosis. But according to this source, the king is not able to do much more than what he's already doing. Quote, the side effects are a lot worse than anyone knows. And again, I can't really find a good reason to say that's ridiculous. This source doesn't know what they're talking about. Cancer treatments are about the worst treatments in the whole world. They make everybody sick. I know everybody I have watched go through chemo or radiation or anything else, really. They have had to deal with some horrible side effects, like just constant nausea or being really tired. They're not themselves. They don't have any energy. It really takes a lot out of an individual. So I think we should applaud the king for continuing to work in any capacity. And naturally, William is right there ready to help. According to this report, he's taken more control at the palace, staying in constant contact with Charles's aide. The source goes on to say he's basically the firm's point man right now, really, my friends. Isn't it such a blessing that William was born first? Can you imagine what a disaster it would be if Harry somehow were the one expected to take on additional responsibilities? He can't even be held responsible for himself. Harry trying to act like he's going to pitch in and help? What a ridiculous idea. Nobody can trust him to do anything. The man probably can't even tie his own shoes. Unsurprisingly, of course, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, is also helping out a lot, taking on additional responsibilities. According to the source, though, William has tended toward less of the day-to-day routine work of the monarchy compared to his father, instead focusing on bigger, glitzier engagements. But now he'll be expected to fill in on many of these more mundane public outings. And then, of course, Catherine, she is still busy recuperating from her own abdominal surgery. She does not need to rush back to work. I hope that she takes all the time she needs to fully recover and to fully heal. The source says she's still recovering and isn't expected to be fully back in action until April. The timing isn't ideal, but she's ready to step up. They've both been preparing for this for years, and it's true. This is exactly what they have been preparing for a very long time now. I mean, even when the late queen was still alive, of course, they were already learning everything they would someday need to know. And then after Queen Elizabeth passed away and the crown was handed over to King Charles, of course, it became more serious for William and Catherine because William then became the direct heir. And many people have said that Charles shouldn't be king anyway, that he should have just handed over the throne to William from the very beginning. Remember, especially in those first few months after the late queen passed away, people were very unsure about how Charles was going to function as king. Many people were instead saying that William would do a much better job. Now, it seems like most people have accepted Charles as monarch, but even so, I'm sure many people still hold the opinion that William is going to do a better job, and they might be right. Things are certainly going to change a lot, though, for William and Catherine, and I'm sure that ideally they would like to wait to become king and queen until their kids are a little bit older. According to the source, they've been able to pick their kids up from school and enjoy family dinners, but now they're going to have to spend a lot more time in London, either at their Kensington Place apartment or eventually Buckingham Palace. The source says because their schedules will be packed. Another aspect to consider is that William and Catherine won't have as much freedom to choose their work projects. According to this report, they'll still pursue their passion projects, but they'll also have to attend numerous miscellaneous events, from ribbon cuttings to factory tours. The source suggests there will be a learning curve, but speaking personally, not as the source, even though there will be challenges, I have no doubt that they can handle it. Frankly, I don't think we could find a more perfect king and queen if we tried. William and Catherine are more than capable. They are incredibly intelligent, responsible, kind, and compassionate. They possess common sense and can relate to people from all walks of life. Time and again, they have proven themselves to be invaluable assets to the British monarchy. One thing we know to be true about the British monarchy is that they are meticulous planners. Those palace aides have everything carefully scheduled and organized. According to this report, they're already beginning to plan William's coronation. I'll take that report with a grain of salt, but at the same time, it's plausible. They must plan for any possible scenario. They can't just assume that King Charles will return to public duties. They have to be prepared in case he can't. This source suggests that, considering the circumstances, they won't have an elaborate coronation. William thinks his father's was over the top anyway. William and Kate don't want all the traditional pomp and circumstance that might make them seem out of touch. So it would likely be scaled down significantly. They'll probably have the religious ceremony and a small reception, hopefully for less than $15 million. I believe this is the kind of coronation we are going to see for William. William has made it very clear that he cares a lot about cutting costs and being relatable to ordinary citizens. He knows that it's not good for the survival of the monarchy if the royal family is viewed as a privileged, entitled bunch who are out of touch with ordinary people's experiences. He understands the optics of throwing an expensive party when people are suffering from a cost of living crisis. He's going to be very careful to gain people's support at the beginning of his reign. From what we know about the Duchess of Cambridge, she's not somebody who cares a whole lot about all that fancy stuff anyway. I believe Catherine is a very down-to-earth woman. She cares about her family. She cares about helping people, especially children. She cares about art. She cares about sports. She's an incredible athlete. She's somebody who, of course, looks absolutely gorgeous when she gets all dressed up, but I don't think it's really important to her. I'm sure she enjoys the odd movie premiere where she gets to just look amazing, but I don't think it's what she lives for. I don't think she's like Meghan Markle. That certainly was not the only reason she married William. And as for how Charles is responding to all of this, the source says the idea that he won't get to make his mark as king is a hard pill to swallow. And the source claims that Camilla is loving the chance to have a relaxing retirement, which again, I wouldn't doubt something tells me Camilla was never so excited about the work that went along with being queen. I think she just loves Charles. Anyway, the source went on to say she's urged him to let it go and enjoy their golden years. It also helps that Charles has a lot of confidence in William and Kate. Counting in the end, he's doing what's best for the monarchy so he can feel proud knowing he's done his job. Well, I believe at a time like this, and I'm sure this is being discussed amongst members of the royal family, I think at a time like this, it's important to think of what the late queen would want. What would she have done? Well, she would say the most important thing is the continuation of the monarchy, and I'm sure she would feel a lot of sympathy for Charles right now. I mean, after all, yes, he waited literally his entire life to have this position, and now he may have to give it up sooner than he wanted to. But again, he knows the monarchy is in good hands with William and Catherine. And of course, Camilla is going to be there to remind him of the bright side of entering into early retirement. More time to just have fun and enjoy each other and relax. King Charles has been working for such a long time. So in some ways, it might not be the worst thing. If he were to give up the throne, hand it over to William, and then, God willing, he still beats the cancer. And then he can just enjoy getting to take it easy for once, getting to enjoy life with a woman he loves. All right, and now let's move on to this little purple box we got here. What about Harry? Well, what about Harry? Honestly, I'm happy that I haven't talked about him much this whole video. But anyway, let's see. So according to this report, Harry did rush to his father's side on February 6th. Well, yeah, that happened where he only got to meet with him for about 12 minutes. But according to this report, Meghan wasn't such a big fan of this move, which I'm sure she wasn't that evil witch. According to the source, quote, he clearly wanted to be there for his dad in his time of need. And Charles appreciated the gesture. But Harry stopped short of offering to return to official duties, even though the family could really use the help. Now, this actually contradicts other reports we have heard claiming that Harry did make that offer directly to his father. See, I don't even think he had to make it directly, though. I think it was pretty obvious why he came. King Charles is no dummy. He's no fool. He can read Harry like a book. And that's the thing about Harry. He needs to give up trying to be sneaky. He's not very good at it. So the source went on to say that Harry seems to be adhering to a shocking ultimatum that royal insiders believe Meghan issued when they left England back in 2020. Or us, quote, Harry chose his wife and kids over his royal obligations. Meghan always lied to Charles, and she's sympathetic, but she's made it clear their life is in the US now. So it is kind of interesting, isn't it? Is what this source is leading us to believe that ideally Prince Harry would love to return and work for his family again. But Meghan is not going to allow him to do so. Honestly, though, Meghan is not the problem. Harry's family is not going to let him come back. And even if his family were to allow that, which they're not going to, the people of the UK would create such a big stink, they would immediately regret that decision. There are so many people who have expressed their opinions in the comment sections of this channel, on Reddit, on other YouTube channels, and on Quora. Many have made their opinions very clear. If the royal family allows Harry, and especially Meghan, to return as working royals, they will lose respect for the monarchy. This sentiment is well understood by the royal family, especially William and Charles. So Harry can keep dreaming if he wants to come back as a working member of the royal family. If he wants to reestablish a relationship with his family privately, that's another matter. But the first step is for him to distance himself from Meghan Markle and be there for his family in a normal way. Stop pretending to be a working royal. As for what we'll see from Harry in the coming weeks and months, probably more of the same. It seems people are keeping him at arm's length and not allowing him to stress out the king further. Continue to pray for King Charles and the rest of the royal family during these difficult times. As for Harry and Meghan, they can go to hell. What do you think of this report from In Touch? Do you believe the king is considering stepping down for William to take over? So let me know your thoughts on William and Catherine as king and queen in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to never miss an update. Thank you for watching and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.